All right, Matt, thanks. Testimony now underway in the January 6th Capitol riot trial of a grab-it man. The case is being heard in Washington, D.C. federal court. 5 News reporter Rachel Williams is in the studio now with details on this. Rachel?
Prosecutors say Richard Barnett planned the trip for weeks and came prepared for violence on January 6. Records show from a Bass Pro Shop that Barnett bought a stun gun 5 days before he traveled to Washington. Barnett was all smiles today as he appeared for day 2 of his trial, which began with opening statements from the Justice Department, focusing on what prosecutors described as Barnett's use of violence on January 6th. Jordan Fisher from our sister station in D.C. is following the trial.
Barnett, of course, is not charged with any violent counts. However, he is accused of bringing this stun gun walking stick into the Capitol, and jurors saw 2 videos of him demonstrating that. They saw belligerent Facebook posts talk about his willingness to fight, and they saw, in a brief snippet, him walking into the Capitol while, prosecutors said, scuffles between other rioters and police were visible.
One of the videos they showed during the opening statement showed Barnett talking about fighting. Prosecutors said Barnett shouted, "We took back our house, and I took Nancy Pelosi's office."
And so I think the prosecution is going to try to suggest to the jury throughout that this is sort of a through line for him, that he came to D.C. not to, as he said, peacefully protest, but rather with this idea of fighting already in his head.
Fisher says the defense chose to reserve the opening statements until after the government completes its case.
But one of them isn't that you're able to sort of incorporate the DOJ's case into your opening statement. You still have to restrict it to the evidence that you're going to present to the jury, but it does allow them a little bit more time to think about that, a little bit more time to decide how they want to frame some of these things and really drill down on the arguments they want to make.
The stun gun Barnett is accused of bringing into the Capitol has not been entered into evidence yet.
Barnett himself has at least suggested, or his attorneys have suggested in pretrial hearings, that the stun feature may not have been active on January 6th. What jurors did see today was a brief snippet of him on January 5th, just the night before, giving a demonstration to other patrons at the hotel bar where he was staying. And you can very clearly see in the image the blue electrical node of the stun gun activated.
Fisher says a lot of the January 6 cases are being pushed back, but since the case is now underway, there shouldn't be any more delays. Rachel Williams, 5 News.
All right.